HOA Karens screamed at an ambulance to move. Had no clue the governor's son was inside. Have you ever wondered what happens when one person's petty power trip brings a neighborhood to a standstill? It was a quiet Tuesday evening in the upscale Willow Creek subdivision, where perfectly trimmed hedges and spotless driveways were the pride of the HOA. Margaret Hensley, known to all as the infamous HOA Karen, patrolled the streets like a hawk, her clipboard always ready to jot down violations to tall grass, unapproved mailbox designs, or, heaven forbid, a car parked an inch too close to a curb. Her reign of terror was legendary, but no one could have predicted the chaos she'd unleashed that night. Margaret, fueled by her obsession with community standards, spotted an ambulance parked outside the governor's vacation home. Its flashing lights were, in her mind, a glaring violation of the HOA's no excessive lighting rule. Without a second thought, she stormed toward it, her voice piercing the evening air like a siren of its own. "Move this eyesore now. You're ruining our aesthetic," she shrieked, oblivious to the paramedics scrambling inside the house. The truth was far more urgent than Margaret's petty grievances. Inside the governor's home, his teenage son, Ethan, was fighting for his life after a sudden allergic reaction sent him into anaphylactic shock. The paramedics had arrived just in time, administering life-saving epinephrine while preparing to rush him to the hospital. Every second counted, but Margaret's tirade was blocking their path. She pounded on the ambulance's hood, demanding it be moved to a designated parking zone. Neighbors began to gather, phones out, recording the spectacle. Margaret, undeterred, escalated her rampage. She tore up the governor's flower beds, claiming they were non-compliant, and kicked over a decorative mailbox for good measure. Her voice grew louder, venomous, accusing the paramedics of disrespecting the covenant. What she didn't know was that the governor himself, alerted by a neighbor's frantic call, was en route, and the situation was about to explode. The confrontation reached a fever pitch when a new figure emerged from the crowd. Mrs. Alvarez, the quiet, elderly librarian who'd lived in Willow Creek for decades. Known for her gentle demeanor, she'd never once challenged Margaret's tyranny. But tonight something snapped. Clutching a worn journal, she stepped forward, her voice trembling but firm. "Margaret, stop this now. That boy in there is dying, and you're acting like a fool." The crowd gasped. Mrs. Alvarez revealed her twist. She'd been keeping a detailed record of Margaret's HOA abuses for years, every unfair fine, every threatening letter, every unhinged outburst. She held up the journal, pages filled with dates and incidents, and declared she'd already sent copies to the state's housing authority. The neighbors, emboldened, began shouting their own stories of Margaret's overreach. The paramedics, seizing the moment, pushed past her to load Ethan into the ambulance, his condition stabilizing but still critical. Margaret's face drained of color as the reality hit. She'd been screaming at a life-or-death mission involving the governor's son. Margaret's empire of petty rules crumbled in real time. The governor arrived, flanked by state troopers, his face a mix of fury and exhaustion. He'd heard the recordings of Margaret's meltdown, now viral on social media, and learned of her vandalism. "You delayed my son's care over flowers?" he thundered, his voice shaking with disbelief. Margaret stammered, trying to justify her actions, but the crowd's boos drowned her out. Mrs. Alvarez handed her journal to a trooper, who confirmed an investigation into Margaret's HOA misconduct would begin immediately. The ambulance sped off, Ethan safely on board, but Margaret's fate was sealed. By morning, the HOA board had voted her out, and the governor's office issued a statement condemning her actions, sparking a statewide push to reform abusive HOA practices. Margaret, once the queen of Willow Creek, was left isolated, her clipboard abandoned, her reputation in tatters. In the days that followed, Ethan recovered, and the governor personally thanked Mrs. Alvarez and the neighbors who'd stood up to Margaret. Willow Creek began to heal, its residents inspired to rewrite the HOA's rules to prioritize compassion over control. The story of Margaret's downfall spread, a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power and the courage it takes to confront it. One neighbor posted online, "We let her rule us too long. Never again." The community's newfound unity was a quiet triumph, proof that even the smallest voices, like Mrs. Alvarez's, could topple a tyrant. What do you think? Where's the line between enforcing rules and abusing power? Share your thoughts below.